Hello, I'm Sarah Gertrude and I try to introduce yourself a general view about the global energy uses and also its sources. Then I try to explain the main fossil fuels, the three main fossil fuels, how are they obtained, their main emissions of greenhouse gases, and also some of their uses. So, the global energy use. It was begun in the Industrial Revolution and in the last few years is growing between 1 or 2% in developing countries, but in non-developed countries an exponential growth is expected in a medium term. Why? Because some of these countries we will use these fossil fuels in a near future. So after this little opening, I try to do another little explanation about the 5 dominant sources that they are the coal, the oil, the natural gas, the renewables, and also the nuclear power. The first is the oil, because it's the dominant nowadays. Nowadays, the oil is the dominant, with 35%. But coal is not lag far behind with only with 27%, and it will catch up in a near future. Then the natural gas with renewables and nuclear power with 23% more or less, that they are the others dominant sources. So, as we know, all the common energy energy or electricity that we use or we produce, it's come from the burning of these fossil fuels, the coal, the oil, and the natural gas. So in the following section I try to explain these 3 sources, how they are obtained, their main uses, and also their greenhouse gases emissions. So first of all, I start with coal. Why? Because it's the biggest fossil fuel reserve, and also it's available in many regions of the world and is really cheap to mine and transport. Furthermore, with a current consumption, we know that we will use coal for 200 years, much more longer than oil or gas, for example. And then the coal was produced by a tiny Asian plant that is covered over by water and no recycle back the carbon dioxide. So after a long period of time and under high pressure and temperatures, we will obtain the carbon rich material that we know as coal. So the problem is that it's not only coal. The coal during the years also gets sulfur compounds and sometimes heavy metal, and this is really bad for the atmosphere because when it's burned, it's produced greenhouse gases. It's produced greenhouse gases. so it is necessary to remove them. But now I try to explain the main use of the gold, that it is about the heat, because the heat that the coal burned is produced is used to get steam, and this steam is used to turn turbine or engines, and then produce the common electricity that we use in houses or industries, for example. Then I try to explain, then I talk about the natural gas, that is a mix of hydrocarbons and a little bit of petroleum. Both of them, petroleum and natural gas, is produced in the same way. They originate as the small microscope organisms, and it's covered by sediments of rock, and the same as coal, after a long period of time under high pressure and also under high temperatures, they lost the water and the oxygen, so they transfer these microorganisms into a liquid compound and a little bit of gaseous compound. The part of liquid, it is the petroleum, and the part of gases, it is natural gas. So the natural gas, we extract it from the same as the petroleum, and when we extract it, is mainly methanol in around 60 or 90%. So we have to separate from the other gases. Why? With the different boiling point, because the methanol have a low boiling point and the other gases have a higher boiling point. So we reduce the temperature of the mix, and we can transfer the other gases into a liquid, so we can separate the methanol as a gas and the other as a liquid. When we have only the methanol, we also have to remove the sulfur compounds that have the natural gas. After this process, it is possible to transport this natural gas by pipelines to the customer. Why is the problem? Sometimes these pipelines leak, so we lose a little part of this methanol. This is worse. Why? Because the gas of methanol is a worse greenhouse gases than the carbon dioxide that produce the burning of the natural gas. So we have to be careful in all the pipelines in the transport. And finally, the main use of the natural gas is to supply enough the domestic heating. And to finish, the crude oil or petroleum, both of them are the same. There are two names, crude oil or petroleum. So it's a complex mix of hydrocarbons. Most of them are alkane series, but also we have cycloalkanes. So the alkane series are from 5 to about 20 carbon each. So we have to separate them, because the petroleum is not possible to burn in and produce energy. Well, of course it's possible, but it's better if we separate in different alkane series and then burn it. So we have to separate this alkane series. The different section of the different part of this it's called fractions. And the name of the process to separate into fractions is called distillation, which involves the vaporization by boiling the mix and then cooling them into liquid again. So these main fractions are gasoline, gas oil, kerosene, and other kind of these. So most of these fractions are used as a vehicle fuels. So the main greenhouse gases is the carbon dioxide, because when it's burning, it's produced carbon dioxide and water, and also the impurities that it has. So, as we saw, the main greenhouse gas, it is the carbon dioxide, but also there are many greenhouse gases like methane, sulfur compounds, heavy metals, and other kind. And as we saw also, the main way to get the energy is by burning the fossil fuels. So thanks for all, and bye bye.